Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be running through 10 things that I absolutely hate about my two cars. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the new videos I post, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It helps me more than you could imagine and it spurs me on to make more great content. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So we're going to start off with this car here. That's my Mini Cooper S R53. So overall the Mini is a really excellent car. It's really good fun to drive. It's powerful, it handles really well, and it's not too bad to run, especially now that I have reinsured the car. Now I'm 21 and the price has dropped drastically. But there are a few niggly bits on the car that I'm not a fan of, and in this video I'm going to be going through them with you. So number one, lacquer peel. So as you can see here in these shots, the lacquer peel on the car is quite bad. Now it's expected for a red car, especially a red car of its age. It's an 05 plate, so it's getting on a little bit. Now a lot of the panels that do have lacquer peel are replaceable, and I am looking to replace them should I find a good source for them, but it seems that every single panel is also subject to the same issues. The worst parts on my car are the front bumper, the bonnet, and a little bit on the scuttle panels just above the bonnet where the window wipers are attached to. It's not too bad there, but it is there as well. So as I mentioned, I am on the lookout for replacement parts for those affected panels. So if anyone does have chili red front bumpers or bonnets, then please let me know. I'd be very interested in taking a look and potentially purchasing them. Number two is the suspension setup. Now if you click on the iCard up here, you can watch me fit coilovers to the Mini. Now I did that last year during lockdown. I bought the coilovers, I bought Stance Plus coilovers, and I put them onto the Mini. There's the first problem. I bought Stance Plus coilovers. Now they're the second cheapest coilovers for the Mini. If I was to do it again, I definitely wouldn't go with that brand. So they're really bad build quality for the price you pay. I mean, they were still £300 and something. They just feel really cheap. I've noticed that they seize up really quickly. The rings to adjust the height just seem to seize up. They're very sort of clunky and rickety, and that's really annoying. That's like one of my biggest problems with that car, is that it's just so loud from the clunking and stuff from the suspension. So overall, I think if I could do it again, I would definitely lower the car on coilovers. I'd just spend a bit more money on it, because the handling of the car now is excellent. I love the look of it. It's not practical, but that doesn't really matter. I would just definitely invest in a more expensive set of coilovers, because you probably get better quality from them. Number three is another one of them sort of niggling little issues, the power steering pump. Now we will be fixing this in a video at some point. I've replaced the power steering pump on this car before, and recently the power steering pump has started to lose fluid. Now I'm fairly certain that the lines down from the reservoir onto the pump have split or cracked or perished, which is causing the fluid to leak out. So I have a feeling they just need replacing. I don't think it's going to be the pump, because the pump is a reconditioned one, which I bought previously, and it worked fine for the other year or so that I've been driving. So yeah, I don't think it's the pump, which is good, because that's a pain in the backside to change. I think it is just the lines or something's not tight. So we'll investigate that in another video, but that is something that really gets on my nerves, just the leaky power steering pump. Number four is the mismatched interior. So this might sound a bit weird to you, but if you click this video up here, I explain why the interior is slightly mismatched. So essentially, the clocks in the middle were like a sat nav, and it had like a fuel gauge, a digital fuel gauge on the bottom. Somehow, I don't really know how or why, the clocks just went bust and they just stopped working. So I had to buy a second-hand dial, which I got off eBay for like 15 quid, which is just like the standard trim piece. And they plugged them in, they worked, they got rid of all the error lights that were showing up, so I was happy and it's done it. But it just annoys me that that isn't the standard interior trim. And on one hand, I don't think it matters, because the car interior isn't going to stay standard for much longer anyway. Spoiler! But then on the other hand, it was a multiple £1,000 optional extra from the factory, and although the sat nav was completely useless, I just don't really like the look of the dial. I know I don't have to look at it because I've got a speedo in front of me still, but I know in my head that they're mismatched, and a Mini enthusiast would look at it and go, hang on a sec, they don't go together. And that just kind of bugged me a little bit. All in all, not really an issue, as I said, because the interior is going to be changing a little bit, and it's functional, it works, it'll pass an MOT, all that fun stuff. So yeah, not a massive issue. It's just, as I said, these are all just little niggly bits that annoy me. Now, number 5, wheels. So this is a huge one. I bought those wheels for my original Mini, must have been like 3.5 maybe years ago now, and they were on multiple cars before I had them. They were on my first Mini, which was in a crash. They survived the crash. They've been on my now Mini. Those that know me know I'm not very good at parking, so the wheel and the curb meet quite frequently, so they're very curbed up. They're just a bit battered and destroyed, so I need to replace them or at least get them refurbed, but it's just a money thing really. I've got my eyes out for a new set of wheels, but I'm not too sure what I want to go for. And I'll definitely keep it black. I like the style of BBSs, but they are very expensive, so I'm just keeping an open mind at the minute. But wheels is definitely something that really annoys me about the Mini, just because it's the first thing you see and it looks messy, and I don't really want that. I'm a little bit better at parking now, I like to think, so I feel like it's probably a safe bet to get a nicer set of wheels. But yeah, that's definitely something that really bugs me about the Mini. So now we're moving on to my BMW E61. So number 1, the paintwork. Now the paintwork on this car is absolutely atrocious. It's been slammed into a wall more time than a Miata going sideways at a meet. It's covered in shopping trolley dings, scratches, scrapes. It's been smashed up against pillars and posts and lampposts, trees, I don't know. There's a massive scuff on the front bumper, which is on screen now. That really annoys me because it's the first thing you see. And yeah, overall the car's paintwork is just really bad. I think it needs a really deep clean and potentially like a detail maybe. You know, some sort of polishing and all that fun stuff. It's way past me. I don't really have that sort of patience. But things like the fact that there's numbers written into the bonnet. There's the numbers 1690. I don't really know why that's on there, but that's like scraped into the paint on the bonnet. I feel like with a machine polish that might come out, and that's something I'm going to have to look into doing, because I do want it to look perfect. But yeah. So number 2 is remote locking. So the BMW remote locking doesn't work. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for it. I've checked the battery and the key. I think I was getting 3 volts, which is what it's meant to be, or 5 volts or something like that. I did check it at the time and it was what it was meant to be. I've checked the diversity antenna in the roof, which is a really common point of failure for the central locking. That's also fine. It's getting the correct voltages. It's all, we cleaned it up, it looks good. We can't see any issues there. There's no water damage like there should be. So there's really no rhyme or reason for why the key wouldn't work. So it does mean I'm going to have to go to BMW and purchase a new key, which could be in the £200–300 range. But yeah, it's one of them things. It's not the end of the world because I can still unlock the car, I can still drive the car, everything still works, but the central locking doesn't work, and it's a little bit annoying. Number 3 is the gearbox. Now, I bought my BMW with an automatic gearbox, and I can actually say that I quite enjoy driving automatic. If I ever need to accelerate a bit quicker, I can just knock it into, I think it's called Steptronic mode, and that's where I can manually shift up and down gears. But that's not that often, to be fair. But my biggest gripe with the gearbox is that it is very jumpy, is one way to sort of describe it. So I'll try and put a clip in now. When you're driving along and it decides to change into gear, from sort of second to third is the worst one, or first to second is quite bad too. The whole car sort of jolts forward, and then as it changes gear, jolts backwards. So yeah, a little bit annoying. Again, it's still functional, just a little bit annoying, and it is something that can be resolved as far as I'm aware. Although the oil in the gearbox is lifetime oil, as BMW say with everything, it isn't. So they do recommend that you change it, I think every 150,000 miles, somebody told me. Well, the car's just about to roll over to 200,000. So I've had a quote to get that done locally. It's not a job that I'm going to be doing on the drive, just because you need to remove the whole oil pan on the gearbox, then refill the gearbox and cycle through all the gears. It's not really something I want to be doing on my back, so I will be taking it to a local garage and asking them to do it, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you along with me for that. So number 4 on the list is the sunroof. So you might think, Jack, that's just a little bit silly, you're just being a bit pedantic, you don't need a sunroof. Well, although I don't want to use the sunroof, I would like to use the sun visor that goes over the roof. The other week we went on a bit of a road trip with a few friends, and the sun was absolutely blazing down. We couldn't close the sun visor, and people in the back were getting absolutely blinded by the sun. Now essentially it would have just been useful to close it. You can't manually pull it. The sunroof system is broken, and I don't really know why. I think it's something to do with the fact that the roof glass was sealed in, so they might have deactivated it. To be honest, I haven't checked for any fuses or anything, but they might have deactivated it to stop somebody pressing the button and then popping the sealant off. But yeah, that is something I'd like to fix. I'd like to get the sunroof working, even if it's just for the visor. I'm not too worried about the actual glass going back, although that would be nice. And yeah, I'd love to get rid of the bathroom sealant off the top of the car. As you can see now in this clip, it looks a little bit messy, and it wasn't a very good job, and it's actually coming up a little bit already, so it will either need to be resealed or fixed soon, either way. And finally, the warning lights. So, as you will have known, when I bought this car, there was 2 warning lights on the dashboard. There was an airbag warning light and a SRS restraint system warning light as well. Now, it did manage to pass its MOT with both of those lights on. I'm not too sure whether that's right or legal, I don't know. But there we go. So it managed to pass with those 2 lights on, and they have stayed on since I've had the car. Now I've got a feeling it's somehow linked to the driver's side seat belt, because it is quite loose to come out of the holder. Essentially, you can basically just pull it out, and you have to really tug it for it to sort of stop itself. So I've got a feeling it's something to do with that. I need to investigate it and just plug in a code reader and see what's what, but there's nothing blindingly obvious that sticks out to me about what the issue could be. Now, accompanying them 2 lights is a level control system fault. Now, this fault wasn't present when I bought the car, but it did rear its ugly head by the time I got home. As far as I can make out, the back right airbag for the suspension has popped, something wrong with it. It's not working properly, and that's why we've got this fault. So I've got a feeling that it just needs the rear right strut replacing, or I don't know, maybe the airline to the strut's damaged or something like that, because you can hear the compressor working overtime most of the time on the car. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. I actually really struggled to find 5 things that I didn't like about the Beamer. I've not had it that long, so it's not had too long to show off bad parts to me, whereas obviously the Mini, I've actually had it 2 years yesterday. So yeah, as I said, a little bit difficult to make that list up, but there we go. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new, make sure you hit subscribe. If not, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next one.